Hello, and welcome to another lemon seed webinar in this beautiful December. It's actually nice weather here in Texas. Now, Heather, you're in Tennessee?
I'm right outside of Knoxville. It's pretty here too, probably in the 40s. It's chilly, but
Oh, well, I say this all the time. It's beautiful to people that run heating and air conditioning companies and plumbing
yes.
companies because we want those strong weather shifts. So, guys, I am Crystal Williams. I am the co founder and lead strategist at Lemon Seed Marketing. We are a marketing company that helps you build your brand for long term legacy level success and strategies to help you have creative and out of the box thinking style marketing campaigns. And then Heather Ripley, I'm so excited for her to join me here from Ripley PR. Lemon Seed actually utilizes Ripley PR for our own services. And so it's a great working relationship. And listening to Heather talk a lot about new things that are coming in the AI world, but also honestly, just good traditional, healthy PR. I'm obsessed with it and I love it. So, Heather, number one, tell us about your book, but also tell us about yourself and kind of what you bring to the table, how long you've been doing this, all that good stuff.
Yeah, thank you. I have my book right behind me. My book is called Next Level Now, and it was published originally in 2021. I took it back from my publisher and just relaunched it. It's
Oh,
available on Amazon, now self published, and I updated it. Um, this book is a kind of a tool for home service businesses to learn about PR and learn how to implement PR no matter what your business size is. Everybody should be doing some sort of PR. So that's my book. I definitely recommend checking it out. My agency is Ripley PR. I was founded the agency, gosh, almost 13 years ago now. I come from the home service world, worked for a franchisor, and love the industry. So we serve the trades and help businesses grow through publicity.
I love it. And listen, it's addictive. Okay. So I get excited for my Ripley PR calls because they're going to be like, oh, you're doing this podcast and you're doing this article, and their team just genuinely cares. And it's an exciting part of marketing to me because it's true. I love the idea of earned media anyway. So, like a lot of you, especially contractors that are active in their communities, a lot of you have lots of newsworthy things. You're just not telling anyone. And so I don't want you guys to sleep on that. Before we get too deep into this, behind the scenes for Lemon Seed is Darian, who is our lead over our social media team, and Madison, who is our executive event planning style person. Both of them are behind the scenes today for Lemon Seed. They are going to be posting links and popping questions up. And so if you have any questions at any point, pop those in the chat section down there. Heather and I will do our best to answer those. We would love for this to be more interactive, other than just listening to she and I talk about AI being or PR being the good side to me of AI. And so right now, if you will go and put in the comment section where you're from and what services you do. Thank you to Paloma and to Robin for already doing that in the chat section there for us. Welcome to the show. And so, okay, Heather, I want to jump into this. So, I'm a branding girl and a strategy girl. So I love grassroots approaches to building your brand. So my family launched Spot On Pest Control, and we did it exactly that way. We built a brand, we built a mascot, we took him out into the community, and the rest is history. We're up 276% year over year, which is a lot, but we were small. So, keep it all relative. Welcome, Allie. Welcome, Deborah. Glad to have you guys. So we did that for Spot On because we have seen the success of just boots on the ground. Y'all have heard me say this if you've been around for a while. Shaking hands, kissing babies, and petting dogs has been one of our best ways. And then, Heather, I know that you have really been around where you've seen contractors get all types of national exposure, but even local exposure for their brands, right? I'm sure you have some thoughts around that.
Yeah, because if you think about your competitors in your local market, they're all doing the same things. Some might have a good brand, some might not. Hire Lemon Seed if you don't. Um, but door hangers, billboards, TV spots, radio spots, mailers. They're all doing the same things, and you have to stand out. So you can stand out with a good brand, but at the same time, people know they're being advertised to.
Yep.
So when you do PR, what that means is you're getting someone else to say good things about you. In our case, we're working with the media to get the media to interview you. And the media, oftentimes in a local market, those journalists and reporters are already trusted in homes. So the homeowners are tuning into someone they already trust, and then they're interviewing your company. We like to get our clients in, plumbing clients, in frozen pipe stories at the beginning of the year. Like, how do you prevent frozen pipes? Things like that are educational, but they're also promotional because the media chose you to interview you. So automatically you have more authority and credibility than your competitors do. So it's proven to work to make the phone ring, but it's also hard to get.
Yes, it is hard to get. So I know, like, I see the Angie Snows on here. Her family company does a big give back every year that gets noticed a lot. McWilliams does some veterans giveaways and things like that. Several of our clients do giveaways and they get naturally picked up. But with an intentional PR strategy, this is the direction I want to go with this conversation today. A lot of you know you should be doing good things for your community, and you probably already do something, but now it's about elevating that and being intentional to earn exposure from that. So for those of you that like to just do good for the sake of doing good, that is a very honorable thing about you. But let's be honest, we all need more positive attention on our brands and who we are and for our people. So think about this one little culture shift that could happen. So think about, you have all these people that you have a great team, and now you need another plumber, you need another technician, you need another CSR, whatever you might need. And your company is featured on, you do a really good job of putting out a story on social media, or you are using a PR company so your story gets picked up locally on news stations and things like that. And then people go, I want to work for somewhere like that. So not only are you tempting, right, other potential employees, but now your employees get to say, man, that's my company, right? We're the ones that donated 25 tricycles to Toys for Tots. We are the ones that served at the homeless shelter. We're the ones that bought all these turkeys. We are the ones. And so it is a culture shift that will change the trajectory of birds of a feather flock together. It will change the direction where your own team people, that hopefully you have good ones that match your core values, those are continuing to pull in more and more people like them to your company, all because it gets noticed. Like, who doesn't like that? Right? Like, who doesn't like being able to say, that's my whatever, right? So when Ripley PR wins an award, I'm like, yes, that's my PR company, right? Because Lemon Seed won an award for one of the most innovative companies, marketing companies, from one of the best practice groups, Service Nation. And I had so many of our own clients like, yes, I was so proud. Like, that's my marketing team. And so it's the same thing for you as a contractor. When you start building and getting more notice and getting yourself out there, your people are proud to work there, and they like to tout it.
Can I add something to you, Crystal?
Of course.
What you said was spot on. It does attract people who want to work for a company that gives back. People who already work there feel proud. But one of the things that I hear most often is people in the home service industry are very giving. It's just a good community overall. And they don't want to share it because they feel that's self-serving too much. But I always say, think about the charity that you're donating to. They probably can't afford PR. So when you are doing PR for them, the recipient, you're elevating their message, their mission, and you're probably inspiring other people and hopefully other businesses to give back too.
Yes.
We had a client for years in Atlanta who that was his goal. He's like, I want to make other businesses feel guilty for not doing this kind of stuff. And I
Yeah.
just want to raise everyone's charity. So you can do a lot more good by sharing it.
I love that. So, that's what even Lemon Seed takes on this same thing. So, Heather's going to be at my conference at the end of January. So, Darian can prop that link into the chat there for you guys to look at. But the Lemon Seed conference is coming up at the end of January, and we are talking all about marketing. All about establishing your unique selling position. How can you stand out in the market? How can you do some cool things? That's exactly what Heather and I are going to be talking about on the stage. They're in very open, it's very communicative conversation. So you're not going to want to miss it. And it's a very affordable conference here with a site visit at McWilliams. And so I hope you guys can come. But Darian will pop that into the chat. But to exactly what Heather's saying, this is all should be a core component to what you do. And then it will elevate these nonprofits that you choose to support, and they will be thankful. And guys, listen, this is a pro tip. It is a snowball effect. When you do Online Access is a fantastic website provider. They have a company or a program called Giving Back Locally. You choose 3 organizations. They're all going to win money, but basically you do a contest and all you're doing is bringing attention to them. You look like the hero because you're giving them money. Each organization's winning the money. Giving Back Locally is an easy way to get going with this type of things that we're talking about. But we called this one today how PR is the new AI for the trades. And so I want to talk about how AI, number one, give me an emoji in the chat if like you have a love hate relationship with AI. Right. Like you love it because it's cool and it's exciting, but you hate it because it's new and it's another thing to learn and you don't know who to trust and it's moving at rapid speed. I would love to know what people are thinking in the comments there. Like, I am one of those. I'm right in the middle. I love it because I know it's coming and it's healthy for us to be excited about new things and go through the learning curve. But at the same time, it's one more thing to learn. But I've been working a lot on making sure that my Lemon Seed clients are ahead of the game on AI, not only just AI search in general and what it brings to the industry. And I have this mantra in life, and it's called default to good. So I default to the good side of things as I can, as best I can, to not get lost in the negatives, things that might pop up. But right now, everything I'm reading talks about you need user generated content. You need more people talking about it. You need more about you as a company. You need it on social. You need it on YouTube. You need it on in like written things. You need national exposure, the backlinking. So one of my favorite things that Ripley PR does for Lemon Seed is tons of backlinking work when we're getting articles published on honestly high authority domains. And again, they manage that because that's the world they live in. And so I take that same philosophy and apply it to almost all of our marketing strategies. So I'm looking for digital vendors that are really good for my clients that build up, that have an AI plan together, right? So one of the first things, Heather, that I heard you talk about was, just like Chat GPT and GEO versus SEO. And so, what is your take on how this is all going to work out for the contractor?
Yeah, well, if if we could back up slightly to the PR and AI thing, I do
Yeah.
want to talk about that for a second because this came up at the AHR conference, which now was almost a year ago. Um, AI can do some things like write content for you and things like that. That's not what I'm talking about in this conversation. I want to talk about GEO, which is generative engine optimization, which is very similar to SEO, which you all know and kind of love. But GEO is different. Your results, well, first of all, people are searching AI. They're searching Chat GPT. They're searching Gemini. They're searching some other Claude and Perplexity. They're looking for who is a plumber near me, who is the best plumber near me, who should I call when my heating doesn't work. They're searching questions like that. And the interesting thing is with SEO, you get a list and you want to be on page 1. And we've kind of figured out some of the things we can do to be on page 1. Well, now you can kind of throw that out the window. SEO is still important, but now GEO is bigger and different. Lots and lots of people are searching GEO. but now you're getting recommendations. So you're getting ABC heating is good for people who need a tune up. But XYZ heating is good for selling new units, or something like that. So
Well, and
it's
that's because that's what those brands have told the internet. This sounds so
yes,
I just wanna simplify
yes,
this. You're gonna hear from a non-super digital techie person. What you tell the internet world is what AI is going to spit back out, right? Heather, do you agree with that?
absolutely. And the reason that we're having this conversation today is because PR is now more important than ever. And I'm not just saying that. AI search is looking for authority, credibility, it's looking for reviews, it's looking for basically information that it thinks people want to see. It's not just looking at algorithms and coding. Now it's looking for those third party stories. It's looking for other people saying great things about you. And those are the things that it's pulling. So when you do press releases throughout the year, whatever you're saying about yourself within the press release and quotes and stories that you're getting, those are the things that AI is showing to the viewer now. So PR is more important than ever. And so if you're not using any PR, you're going to get left behind on the GEO search.
Yeah, and I can tell you, so like I know from several of the little organizations that I'm working with, like it's looking at all of these places. And so now more than ever is diversification. Right, that's a word that I've been using a lot lately. Like, used to, clients would call me and they were on what I call the Google hamster wheel. They got on there, they put all their money into digital, they called it a marketing campaign, they just ran on that wheel all day long. Well, then when there was no demand, they were panicking, and then demand would hit again, and all of a sudden everything was fine. So same thing, marketing is the winner when or is never really the reason for success, but it's always the reason for the fault. So because nobody goes, "Oh my gosh, our marketing is killing it," right? A lot of times it's like, "We are killing it." But I'm going to tell you that right now, more than ever, is the importance of diversifying where you're putting content. So this is why you see an insurgence in podcasting. This is why you see an insurgence of more people doing things like Reddit. And listen, Reddit is a challenge. It is a very unique content strategy that you as a contractor have to use on there, because you cannot be promoting. You have to ask questions, and it's very collaborative. But diversifying where you are putting things. So to again, to Heather's point, like, are you writing more things? I felt like the 90s when blogging hit the streets, right? And now people are like, blogging's dead. I'm like, absolutely not. I just got 10 blogs from Ripley PR for this purpose, because we want more content in more places, so that as Google decides what mood it's in every day and where it's going to pull stuff from, and where the GEO side of things, like where everything's going to get pulled from, I think the more places that you can have content. So again, content and PR have never mattered more than they matter right now, for sure. And so Paloma put on here, she just said, personally, as a homeowner, I've switched how I search for information on home service companies. We had a tornado a while back and our home needed some repair. So I spent a lot of time on ChatGPT learning about the different repair processes. So let me say this. Now it's a different way that we search. So my mom is 64. So my mom right now will still go and Google AC repair. But I am going to say, "Hey, tell me the top roofer repair companies in my market that offer financing." Like, I'm going to have a longer search. I'm more collaborative with that search. So now when you're really trying to serve both audiences, and it is, again, y'all, this is a strategy. This is why you need a PR strategy, a marketing messaging strategy, a content strategy. So if you're just willy-nilly out there living your best life, just throwing stuff out every time, then it's going to land like that, very haphazardly. And so again, my biggest encouragement here is that, you know, we start thinking more how the homeowners are starting to adapt. I'm gonna say one more thing because I'm on a tangent for a moment. I noticed in social media last week, just in all these Facebook groups. So I would love for y'all to tell me in the comment section, what is your favorite contractor Facebook group that you love to be a part of? Because I'm a part of a lot of them, but I'm telling you, I'm ready to leave some of them because I'm like, there's rampant bad advice in here. But like Women in HVACR, Lady Titans, there's all these cool ones to be a part of. But um, what I want to say here is that we are super distracted by all of these ideas being thrown at us. And I saw on Facebook last week, people were like, "Well, okay, here is me one more time telling you that don't be, distracted by these scare tactics that AI is taking over search. It's less than 2% of the search volume." Okay, we have to put this in perspective. 2% of like 30 billion, so there's some ridiculous number, is a humongous number. And I don't know about y'all, but I care about that number. So am I like changing my whole entire life and throwing my whole website away and starting all the way over? No. But I just think it is responsible of those of us that are marketers and content generators and PR specialists. Like it is responsible of us to be looking at it and paying attention to it so that we are early adopters and early modifiers to the product, so that we can do it. So I want to encourage you not to get distracted by AI, but to get motivated and get excited about what AI can do, because I definitely think it's not on its way. It's here. It's not even the future. It's the present. And so how can we do some things to do that? So you want, right, Heather, when people go to search for you in general, Power Women of the Trades, that's a great one. When you go to search for services, when the homeowner is searching for Aurora plumbing in Aurora,
Mm-hmm.
right? What do we hope shows up there?
Well, we hope that they're trustworthy, they're reliable, they have great reviews. Some of those things are what you want. So it's looking at all kinds of things, and then people are using AI too for taking that search a little bit further and saying, my they're typing this in. My roofing contractor told me I need new shingles. What kind of shingles do I need in my area? And you can see if they're trying to rip you off or something. My HVAC contractor told me I need a new unit. Mine is from 2002. People are searching all this stuff to see if what you're telling them is the truth. And
Mhm.
then it even says, would you like me to give you some questions to ask the technician?
Yeah, I mean, y'all, it is
Crazy.
well, it's empowering the homeowner.
It is,
And
yes.
so now, like credibility, authority, consistent storytelling, and community visibility is how you need to do this. So, consistent messaging is like literally what Lemon Seed was built off of: consistent branding, consistent messaging, and honestly, PR. So, we will do like some simple press releases and things. But honestly, at the end of the day, a PR strategy, especially for those of y'all that are slightly larger and in metro markets, you have a lot more PR opportunities. So, like, I'm a very rural area, and so there's some simple things that I can do. But those of you that are near like larger areas, Phoenix, Dallas, things like that, Houston, Miami, you have some Atlanta, you've got cool opportunities that you don't even know that you could be getting set up as. Man, I saw y'all on the news. Y'all are it. Y'all are the authority. And y'all listen, y'all might be struggling on the backside. You might be like, man, I'm kind of operationally a mess right now. I'm down two technicians. The community, it's what they see, right? So you're actually able to keep some of your dirty laundry in the house because it's what they see. And that's why it is so important that we be very intentional. But everything that we do in our marketing strategy needs to be encouraging clients to engage with us, right? So buy a product, join our maintenance club, upgrade your system, add indoor air quality, all of those things. And so to do that, I think we need some, unique advertising strategies, unique AI strategies. And so, tell us a little bit about paid media, how you approach paid media. Heather, like, what do you think about, paid print? Are all those things still relevant? Should we still be doing all of those things? You know my answer, but what's your answer?
I think it goes hand in hand. I mean, you need to keep your name out there. The thing with PR is, you might get the media to talk about you, but there might be a window between when they last interviewed you and when they'll interview you again. So you do have to have all of these pieces of the pie working together. But you mentioned earlier awards, speaking engagements. You could speak at your local chamber, and that's another reason to be out in the news. You won an award, that's another reason to be out in the news. And it's another thing that Chat GPT or any of the others are going to show up. They're going to say, Lemon Seed is an award winning agency. They're
Yep.
going to find all those things about your company. So if you can create some news, and that's what we say, we're not trying to have stunts or anything like that, but figure out what you've got going on in your business and then get that news out there on a repetitive basis, ongoing, and get as much media coverage as you can.
So here are some thoughts for 2026 that I would love for you guys to write down that should be potential goals for you. Identifying one place that you can host some sort of lunch and learn. So a lunch and learn, and then I want you to video the majority of it. And I want you to promote it on your social media. I want you to put it on your website and whoever is helping you host it. So chambers of commerce are one of the most easy, trustworthy places to start. So go to your local chamber and say, hey, I want to do a webinar over, and listen, it could be over, not a webinar, I'm sorry, an in-person event, I think. A webinar is fine too, but just again, you need content, right? So it could be about culture. It could be about, ways to weatherproof your home. Now, remember, chambers of commerce are very business driven. So you want to relate it to business the best you can. But that would be one goal, is some sort of speaking engagement. Maybe you go to Rotary clubs, Lion clubs, things like that, where you can go and speak on, hey, this is what I speak on. I'd love to speak. And you're going to ask everybody that might have an opportunity for you to start speaking, because again, it starts establishing you as an authority person. So you would want to take business cards, you want to take anything you have about yourself, you want to video that, and then you want to write up about it. You want to send a follow-up thank you email to all of the people that were there. You want to make the very most of those speaking engagements. Another cool opportunity for 2026, I would say, is podcasting. I have 3 clients that are doing local podcast. Well, 2 existing clients and one that is a past client. She hired an internal marketer, but really these podcasts, listen, it's a challenge that you love to have. So putting out content consistently is a challenge, but listen, be dedicated to yourself and then make it all about local things. Okay. So interview. So again, listen, some of y'all are going to be like, what are you talking about, girl? I'm from rural East Texas, right? So you know what's huge in rural East Texas on Friday nights? High school football. So you know who I would be interviewing? The local schools director, athletic director. And I'd have them on my podcast and be like, all right, today I'm interviewing Coach Blake Morrison from the Dieball Lumberjacks. Coach Morrison, tell us what's going on. And then throughout there, I'm going to say, well, it's another, spot on pest control first down. We love to hear that called. So we're going to constantly talk about our company, funny ways to tie it in. And at the end, you say, hey, this is spot on pest control with another way that we're keeping you spot on with your community. Join us next week or join us next month. But what it is you're putting out content constantly that's connecting people. So now everybody that cares about your local community is going to listen because they're nosy. They're inquisitive. Inquisitive is a better word, but y'all know that they're nosy, right? So, but you can interview a city manager, the chief of police, your athletic directors, your city secretaries, your nonprofits in the area. A kid wins a big show at the youth fair and interview them and their family about how they did it. There's all local event organizers. I can fill up your podcast schedule with 20 people in literally 4 minutes. And so a podcast is a unique idea and you don't have to be fancy with it. Literally use Chat GPT. You can do most of it from your phone. Okay. So cool things there. And then the last one is, Heather mentioned this, awards. You're never going to get awards if you don't ever apply for awards. So, and you got to kind of toot your own horn, friends. In 2026, toot toot. I want y'all to toot your own horn in 2026. So try to go get best of maybe your Better Business Bureau in your market. Go nominate yourself for that, right? Go nominate yourself for the best in the East Texas, right? For the newspaper. And what about were the Chamber of Commerce awards or nonprofit of the partner of the year? Go look for opportunities to get noticed. Good job, Gina. She said they are doing cool stuff. So listen, this is encouragement for 2026. These are unique ways to put yourself out there. And to Heather's point, when you win an award, other people care about that. So they pick it up. If you've got a cool podcast, let me tell you who I'd be interviewing also is my editor of the local newspaper or my news anchor. If I can get people like that on my show, I'm here for it, right? Um, and so tell us, let's jump back a little bit about PR specifically, public relations, right? You had this quote that you sent me, and it said public relations is a strategic communication process that builds mutually beneficial relationships between organizations and their publics, which is earned media. Can you explain a little bit more
Yes.
detail about earned media?
Yeah. So if you look at your business, the most frequent question I'm asked is, "What kind of news could I possibly have?" I'm a home service company. Nobody wants to talk about that stuff. Um, they do, but you have to be beneficial to the media, meaning it's not an ad. If you tell them we have a $99 drain cleaning special, they're going to send you to their advertising department because that's an advertising message. If you say, here are 5 things you should never put down your drain, that's a more educational story. That's educational content. It could be seen as more of a PSA, helpful to homeowners. And that's something that they might interview you about. So you have to be mutually beneficial. The media's job is to sell advertising. So they do produce content that they feel like viewers will tune into so that they can sell more advertising. So if your message feels a little bit more promotional, they're going to say buy an ad.
Yep.
So it's a very delicate balance. But if you look at your business as how can I benefit the community at large with my message? How often should you clean your air filter? Talk about smoke detectors in the home and fire safety, and be of help, be a service. Think about what questions you're asked when you're in the homes. Those are the types of stories that the media is interested in.
Well, and I remember like when I first started at my family's heating and air conditioning company, I looked up one day and on their e-news, so like they have like a digital news station, they were interviewing like this mm, very chuck in a truck guy in my market. And I was like, what in the world? So I called the station and was like, hey, y'all interviewed Joe Schmo over here. But let me tell you all of the things that McWilliams and Son does. We're doing generators, we're doing attic insulation. And they were like, oh, I had no idea. Will you send me an email? Well, listen, once I got their email, we became email besties. So I was always kind of pitching us and pitching ourselves because I understood the power of them saying, oh, you know what? We need a story filler. Y'all don't care. They need to fill the story because, East for us, if it gets below 50 degrees, we shut the state down. So, but we needed someone to we needed to push in there so that they had someone that they could easily get in contact with. They had a personal connection. And so, this earned media concept doesn't come, it's you have to have work on your own side, right? You pushing yourself to put yourself out there. And so that's really a big piece of my encouragement. And so, but what does PR do for you? It's going to help you build trust. It's going to help you boost your visibility and earn some credibility. And like she mentioned, here's where it's going to show up, right? So local news stations, both online, on their social media, on their actual news broadcast, it shows up. Magazines. So, this is weird, magazines and newspapers, they were just like tanking, tanking, tanking. But now, honestly, they're saying that people have lost that connection. I don't know about y'all, nostalgic for just a moment. How many of y'all are old enough to remember reading a tangible a paper? A tangible newspaper, like it got thrown in your driveway or in your mailbox, right? I need to know how many people on this call remember that because most of my team is a lot too young to remember that. But my grandpa used to open the newspaper and he would fill out the crossword, but he read every section of the paper. And so reading the newspaper was so powerful. And so now I think it's kind of, we're seeing a little bit of a weird insurgent of it back, kind of coming back around. So there's little new magazines launching and things all the time. So just be looking for those opportunities, podcast, radio interviews. So if your local radio station says, you know what, tomorrow's going to be 40 degrees, 30 degrees, 20 degrees, I wish we had somebody we could talk to. If you've put yourself out there more and more, they could say, hey, let's go call those people over there at Spot On Pest Control and talk to them. Do they want you to buy stuff? Quite possibly. But at the end of the day, you don't care. You want to get noticed. You want to get picked up. And then, of course, community sponsorships and things like picking up. But PR, I think, definitely has a long term ROI. And so we really need to take stock in how we are evaluating the success of those things. Um, yeah, Robin said she even had a college class that required you to read the newspaper. So same, I was a journalism major at my junior college, and I literally developed print. Now listen, I'm not that old. I'm 43. I literally had to process my own pictures. And then I also designed our own school newspaper. And now I'm like, that's a whole app in social media community. But it taught me a lot about cool things about newspaper, like where how as an editor of my college newspaper, how I would see all these requests coming in, and they wanted me to pick them all up. Well, things would stick out to me, and I would pick up these different things. The local sorority that did a give back. That's how I know. That's how I know that this does work. So you want to take stock in how things work, and make sure that you're doing what you can there. And so, also you can kind of pay attention. Heather, you talk a lot in one of your PHC presentations that I saw. You talk a lot about a SWOT analysis and a focus group kind of part of that. Tell me a little bit about where you go with that mindset.
Yeah. This is for every business. You kind of have blinders on when it comes to looking at your own business, either internally or externally. So a SWOT analysis is looking at your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats from an outside perspective, if you can. So we talk about getting focus groups together. That could be longtime employees. It could be vendor partners that really know you. It could be really close family or friends that know your business. And you look at those each category individually from an internal perspective and an external. So strengths might be, we have a lot of senior expert technicians, but that could also be a threat because you're not recruiting new technicians and your seniors might retire out. So if you look at your business and kind of map out your strengths, your opportunities, your weaknesses, and your threats, you can look at fixing your weaknesses, making those strengths, and then tweaking your external messaging to focus on your strengths and your opportunities and grow those areas of your business. And we like to look at that because when you're doing your public relations strategy, you want to figure out what your key messages are. You might have 3 key messages, and those are the things that you're putting out in the community every day, everywhere you can, to stay on message and stay on the message that you want to share.
Yeah, I'm a huge SWOT analysis person. I actually have a planned meeting with my own marketing team this Thursday about actually what did we do well in 2025? What were we weak? What are opportunities? What are threats? How do we do it? And listen, this is a very good process to go through. If you'll be honest with yourself, don't sugarcoat. Don't be like, well, I love it. Did it work or not? Like, at the end of the day, I do tell myself this sometimes. I'm the boss of this mug. I can do what I want to do. But I also have to say, is it worth me going to that other show? Is it worth me investing in this other newsletter? What is worth me doing? But I talk a lot about strategy, and I talk a lot about, I wear y'all out with that word. I'm not gonna lie. I know that I do. Because I see it every day. So this is what I want to know from people that are on the call. I want to understand your biggest pain points in marketing and AI and growing your business in 2026. Is it that you feel overwhelmed? You're wearing too many hats in the business and marketing always falls by the wayside? Is it that maybe your brand as a whole is very weak and it blends in? Is it budget? You don't know how to budget correctly? Is it just you're not creative? What I want to know in the comments, what are your biggest hurdles? that you're trying to overcome. And, I want to tell you, and Heather, you probably have a good example in your mind too, but I'll talk about mine first to give you a minute. But so for McWilliams, like we went from 3 to 25 million in 4 years. And y'all, that was not by accident. That was my brother being a strong operator and me being pushed by him to think outside the box, get us things like PR, do effective branding, get our social media presence out there, get content going, take care of our people culturally. And so when those things were happening, I remember thinking I literally had a job because the marketing hat was one too many hats that my brother wore because he was an operator. He wanted to run the operations side. He was excellent at pushing others that really kicked them into gear to being their best self. But because of that, like Gina's saying right here, you wear too many hats and it get pushed into the back burner. But with a strategy, whether that strategy comes from Lemon Seed building it out, or you just take time to write your own strategy out, strategy saves you both time and energy when those days are rough. And so knowing that you have a marketing team like Lemon Seed, or that you have a strategy that you've put together yourself, already documented with all those things, helps. And then you can push yourself to put out more content that hopefully earns you more of a PR, public relations thing. I'll tell you right now, public relations will be the last thing you get to if you can't get to your actual paid marketing first. And then if you have a very weak brand out of the gate. So let's talk about really quick what a weak brand is. So a weak brand to me definitely means there is nothing unique about the look and feel of it. It's probably red and blue. It's probably very simple, or it's hard to pronounce. It blends in. So like my last name's Williams. I love my last name and I love my husband, but that's not super unique. Williams Heating and Air Conditioning would be a challenge to get out there. So there are things that we can do with your brand, but honestly, if time is your biggest struggle, it's time to outsource marketing. If you want to do the PR, but you don't have time to get a strategy, it's time to outsource your PR strategy. So what Lemon Seed does is connect you with those right vendors, and then we orchestrate everything for you. So Darian is going to pop into the chat there a link to how you can visit with Lemon Seed about how we can help you take that time off. But let me tell you what else I want to tell you. This is free advice. You prioritize things that matter. So the very first thing you need to prioritize in 2026 is your brand. If your brand is good, I want you to move to social media, because this is for brand building. So let me be clear. This is for brand building. For brand building, I want you to get on social media and I want you to do good content 4 to 5 times a week, whether you are doing little videos or something. I want you to just watch what happens when you start prioritizing your brand and putting it out there. Um, and if budget is an issue, then I would tell you that you need to create your budget. So, Lemon Seed, I'm going to rile some of y'all up. I'm going to rile you up. But I'm going to recommend, if you want to be aggressive and grow more than 10 to 20%, you need to be to 8 to 10% of your marketing revenue. So if you want to hit 7 million next year, especially those this is what I heard this morning. I had a client, or a potential client. He's like, well, I'm at 3.5 million, but I want to hit 7 million next year. I'm like, okay, what's your marketing budget? You know what he told me? 12%. So you know what he's going to do? We're going to hit 7 million because he's doing 12%. But some of you will say, well, I want to hit 7 million, but I got 3% in marketing. Well, with that 3% to go big leaps and bounds, we need to deploy strategies like PR, right? And like a more aggressive digital strategy. So to do that, we need more budget. So you've got to figure out a way to get your budget in line and then prioritized correctly. So that's what Lemon Seed specializes in, is how do I prioritize the right vendors, and when should I launch direct mail, and to who, and with what message. I want to do PR, but like, what do I do? That's what we're here for. And then Heather's job is to look for opportunities. If you're on plan with Ripley, they're looking, trust me, they will give you more than you can handle. They are looking for places to get you out there. And so I know, Heather, you had one case study on here, Southern Trust Home Services in Roanoke. Tell everybody a little bit about their success story.
Yeah, longtime client. I've known Ted Puzio now for about 10 years, actually longer, because I knew him at Clockwork, and he remembered that and I didn't, but that was in 2008. But Southern Trust is in Roanoke, and they wanted to create some sort of give back campaign. We worked with them, and they named Heat for a Hero. So every year they take nominations for a veteran in need, and they donate an HVAC unit. And then we do publicity for them and get dozens and dozens of pickups and media interviews and exposure. And every year it just seems to get bigger and bigger. So just a good example of something that they were kind of already going to do, but they didn't publicize it.
Yeah, and listen, a lot of you already do something cool like that. So I think the big with this being y'all's pain point, y'all are telling us here, time and too many hats. It all boils down to time, right? So if you have the passion and the vision to do these things, it's probably time for you to get the right resources in place because you need to keep telling your story about what you're doing and how you're doing it consistently. And listen, you care way more about yourself than people care about you. I know that's a hard pill to swallow, but what I'm saying to you is this: you need to put out content over and over and over again. You need to tell people over and over and over and over again what you do. Why do y'all think lemon seed? I always wear yellow. Everything's zesty. Everything's fun. Listen, y'all, I get tired. You get tired of talking about it. I have the 3 bucket framework we're going to build. We're going to talk about brand building, call to action, cultivation. I can say those things in my sleep, but I have to keep putting out content because none of y'all care. None of y'all, that's my East Texas, that y'all are welcome. None of y'all, you don't care until that pain point hits you. Same thing for your customers until their water pipes or water's all over their house, or their roof is falling in, or it's 115 degrees in their house when they get home from work, or they see a scorpion in their house, right? That's when they need you. So imagine how long we have to talk to them and all of the authority we need to be building. That is where people are like, I wish there was just a silver bullet. Well, let me tell you, many of y'all are putting your silver bullet praise over here on a digital tactic like a super expensive PPC and things like that. When really you have no strategy for long term success. And so there is a happy place in the middle. There is a place where we can get most contractors in the middle, whether you have that healthy lead gen eye laser focused on new customer acquisition, one-to-one correspondence, meaning I spend $1, I make $1,000. That is definitely a part of your strategy, but you can't sleep on this other part of it and how AI, whether you like it or not, they are combing all of these places that you're doing these cool things, this heat for a hero. I bet you if we go look, all of their press releases and things are all about the award winning or winning or top in the industry. And they specifically tell them heating and air conditioning over and over and over again so that Google, AI, whoever's crawling, whatever they're crawling, they are showing up as an authority in their space. And so it's not a time to be shy with these things. So be genuine, be authentic about yourself. Focus on telling the story for people and not on products. So, another pro tip for 2026: stop telling me about electronic air filters. I don't understand it. This is a homeowner, right? I don't understand it. Indoor air quality. When you use terms like that, the majority of people don't get it. You need to say things like, do you have pet dander all in your house? Is there pet hair everywhere at your home? Do your kids sneeze at night? Is your water murky? Like, you need to be positioning the problem that you solve. You need to talk to people, not the product. Partner with a nonprofit, even if you pick one and you focus on them all year long. My family does Alzheimer's awareness for our heating and air conditioning side. For the spot on pest control side, we focus on mental health, like a suicide prevention. My grandfather, unfortunately, in October of 2014, committed suicide. Christian man in his early 80s at the time. I mean, took his own life because he had bladder cancer. And it impacted our family. We were very strong Christians. It was very devastating to all of us. And so my sister, when we started spot on pest control, she immediately was like, this is what I want to do, like surviving past suicide and suicide prevention. And so when you have a passion behind your project like that, and you tie your company to it, it just is, it's very impactful. So I encourage you, look for that for 2026. And then listen, share photos and share your reviews. That was Heather's list to me of things that you could do there. So, last, really quick, we have like 3 or 4 minutes. I just want to touch on this really quick about crisis PR. I know you have the right response. So, right now, this time of the year, we failed to find carbon monoxide. One of our technicians, you know, gets hurt in a wreck or hurt somebody else in a wreck. What do we do, Heather? Panic could be number one.
Yeah. Well, if something bad happens and your company's name is pulled in, you're going to be feeling a lot of anxiety. So we like to work with clients way ahead of time because it's not a matter of if something bad happens, it's when. We all know that something bad will happen to our company. It may or may not hit the news, but you can be prepared for it to hit the news, and we can help you with what are the types of things that could happen to your company? Data breach, person arrested, person injured, gosh, a house burns down.
Yeah.
You can be prepared with written statements and training for escalation. If a technician's at a home and something bad happens, who do they tell? When do they tell? Training your employees not to speak to the media if something bad happens, how to escalate them, how to give a different phone number to the media if somebody's asking for a statement. All of that stuff can be in your crisis plan. And you might want to start with having chat, create a crisis plan for you, and go from there. It is something that we work with all of our clients on, and hopefully prepare them and prevent some things from happening. If you know it could happen, sometimes you can prevent it.
Absolutely. So that was just I just wanted to throw that in there at the end for you guys to know, like, number one, Heather's a good resource. So you can always reach out to Heather at Ripley PR as a resource, and then get connected with her team for things like, even this happened with one of the groups that I'm a part of. We were already on plan with Ripley PR, but we had a crisis that jumped up right in the middle of like big events happening, and her team doubled down, jumped in, because it required some coordination. And so, I just want you guys to have this in your back pocket as being prepared. So, again, on the screen right now, there is the link to Ripley PR if you're interested in learning more about her packages. I actually work with her in both HVAC clients, nonprofit clients, and lemon seed. So I'm happy to give a personal recommendation, help you through that. But also, Darian's going to post there again lemon seed conference information. She'll put that in there. If you are not a client of lemon seed, it's still one of the most affordable conferences to come to. And December 15th is our deadline to register. So you're going to want to come. If you loved this conversation, we're bringing even more of this. Very much an interactive lemon seed conference. Also, we have our lemon seed newsletter. Please just subscribe to that. If you're on this, you might already be getting that. But if you're not, and you came to us from Ripley PR and you are not actually subscribed to our newsletter, we send a couple of out a month. A couple of those out every month. And then last but not least, my podcast is called From the Yellow Chair. Heather's been a guest on it before. From the Yellow Chair it's free marketing information. We publish every day, every Tuesday at 6 a.m. Central Time. Something about marketing, community engagement, branding. Most of them are less than 45 minutes long, but just friendly little nugget drops of information that we would love to do. So, also, and last but not least, if you would love to work with Lemon Seed or Ripley PR, reach out to us today and let us get you scheduled with our team to show you all of our products. That we would love for you to see if they are a good fit for your company right now. Lupita is our sales team member. She would love to meet with you, show you our pricing, how we're structured, and we have some end of the year promotions going on, so that you can start 2026 off with a bang. And then, Heather, what's the best way? Go into the website. What's the best way that they can reach out to you?
Email is probably the easiest. It's hripley, Ripley, at ripleypr.com. Or you could call my office. The number's on the bottom of the website. Just click it and call. But I'm always on my email. So if you want to reach out, we'll talk and figure out some rate strategies for 2026.
Guys, here's my encouragement to you for 2026. Don't be afraid of AI. Do what the other people in your market are not doing, which is boots on the ground, PR, public relation driven strategies. Let Lemon Seed help you. Let Ripley PR help you. But you know what? All of us are here to help. Go listen to all of our free resources. We're happy to help you any way we can. Go kill your 2026 and do a great job. You're going to do great. And here's to a great 2026. And we will talk soon. You'll be getting this out in your email in another few days. So we'd love for you to watch the replay. Let us know how it goes. Thank you so much. Have a great day.